me and my boss and the other guy from Germany went up to Vancouver to talk to these people about were they interested in selling their test facility to Siemens.
Oh,
Because there's very few places in the world that
You
you
can
can
do
get
that.
that kind of power,
yeah.
right? And so they had this little Quonset hut thing made out of, poured concrete, and you would put the piece of switchgear in there that's supposed to be rated for, you know, whatever the rating was on the thing,
Okay.
as far as the breaking a circuit. So the problem is when you try to break a big electrical circuit, you get an arc,
Right.
and the arc eats up
Everything.
the contacts, right?
Yeah.
And then they test them to see how high a voltage that they'll break, right? Or what amperage they'll break at. And so they would set the equipment up in this bomb-proof little building and put a huge load on it and then try to open it. And sometimes they worked and sometimes they just disintegrated. We didn't see them doing any testing, but
You said your trip was to see if they would sell you this.
the whole facility,
Facility.
which was big money.
What could you offer them as a price that you
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wouldn't have any idea.
Oh, you were just to start conversations.
Yeah, being from the U.S. Yeah.
Okay, I just wondered if they said you can go offer them.
Oh,
this
no.
much.
No, I wasn't at that level.
Oh, okay.
No.
But how interesting.
Yeah,
How cool.
yeah. And I've been inside a hydroelectric dam up in Michigan. That's interesting. It was so old. It looked like the panel was designed by, Tesla or somebody. I mean, it was individual gauges mounted on a big board, and the board was hung on the wall, and it was connected just with just bare copper. It's like, this is really weird. And you want to upgrade this, right? But they still generate a lot of hydroelectric in Michigan. There's a couple plants up there, yeah. And they have one where they just store water. So during the night, when there's not much of a load on the electrical system, they pump water from the lake up into this reservoir.
Oh.
So they're burning electricity to pump water up to a higher elevation, okay?
What's the benefit?
And then during the day, when they have more of a load, they let it down and generate electricity. So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, that
Pumped.
makes sense.
Pumped storage.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. I wonder if that's truly resourceful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems to work.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, because I guess there's a huge difference in the price of electricity in the middle of the night as opposed to during the day.
Peak
Yeah.
of the day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a guy, I was watching a video on YouTube, and he was talking about how he was making money. He lived in California. He was talking about how he's making money by charging up his solar system during the day
Mm-hmm.
and selling it back to the grid
Mm-hmm.
during the day because that's peak hours.
Mm-hmm.
And at night, no one cares.
Right.
You don't make anything at night. So just selling it all back during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no sense. The value of it changes depending
Day
on the
to
time
night.
of day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, yeah, that's why your utility wants you to run your dishwasher in the middle of the night or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But when you compare what you're paying for electricity and what you're paying for uh, cable TV, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Cable's
Electricity's a
insane.
bargain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Cable's
for now.
insane. Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll
Well, we're
fix
gonna
that.
run out. We're gonna run out of it. I mean, there's no question. They're gonna replace the use of gasoline with the use of electricity,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, where's the electricity gonna come from?
Well, that's what that same guy. It's so funny that you're bringing this up. The same guy was saying, you know, it's nice in theory that everybody would drive an electric car
Right.
because you're at least moving the pollution to somewhere else.
Right.
You know, if nothing else, you're moving the pollution to some other place. Right.
Well,
But you're still creating the pollution, and then on top of that, he was saying if everybody in California switched to electric cars, the grid couldn't handle
couldn't
it.
happen. Right.
It's not possible.
Right.
Everybody would have to turn their houses into their own generation stations.
Right.
And would that even be enough? That's arguable because most people live in multi-unit places where the amount of sun exposure on the roof isn't great enough. Because you have
Right.
10 people living under 1,000 square feet of roof. There's not enough space on that roof
Mm-hmm.
to capture the sun to charge everyone's cars.
Right.
So
Well, just think about it. How much do you spend for gasoline
Yeah.
compared to how much you're spending for electricity?
Mhm.
There has to be some ratio there,
Mhm.
right? So if now you're spending $100 a month on gasoline,
Mhm.
right? You're going to spend $100 a month on electricity. Okay.
If the two
Well, that's going to double your bill.
sure.
And if everybody's bill doubles, where are they
The
going to get all
system
that
can't
electricity?
handle it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Let alone the batteries for the cars. That's
But,
going
yeah,
to be the
what
next big crush.
Right.
In
Yeah.
the charging station.
I'll make a prediction. Within 10 years, we'll be talking about hydrogen-powered cars.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll
Because
have to
we
do
already-
something else because it's not gonna. The idea that we'll have one thing that's gonna solve all of the problems.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Well,
too great of a load for
hydrogen's
one thing to solve it. It's gonna have to be a lot of different things, or a lot
Yeah.
less use. One of the two. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. That's why they say it. I swear. It's because we don't have the ability.
Well, you can't do it that quick.
No.
They're talking about having huge shortages in the lithium
Yeah.
to make the batteries, and the zinc, and the rare earth elements, and all the stuff that goes into these solid state batteries, right?
But even if you had all those things, though, you still, like, the grid couldn't handle all the electricity that needs to go in. You'd still
Right.
need to have solar panels that would be much more efficient than what we have now, covering every roof, which is fine. I'm not
Right.
against it. Go ahead, great. But even then, it still wouldn't work for all the cities where you have so many people living under a limited amount of square footage per roof. Even that, I mean,
Well,
I'm
I was-
not against the goal, but I just don't know how it would be
Well, what are the
attained with
goals?
what we have now.
What are the goals?
Well, to somehow magically be able to get from A to Z without using any.
Carbon-based fuel.
Yeah,
Carbon-based.
yeah. Well, good luck. I mean,
Good luck.
I'm not against it, but that would be great. I mean, I wouldn't mind if you could just somehow magically, I would prefer if you could just clap your hands and your car took you where you needed to go. Or, I mean, that would be ideal. It's not like I get up in the morning going, I love petrol.
Yeah.
But whatever it is has to be reliable. And I've been there's this company called EV West, and they make electric vehicle conversions for existing cars rather than new cars. So you take your old car, they have achieved a level of notoriety because they took a car like mine and they managed to give it what is the equivalent of 800 horsepower, all electric. So it's an insane amount of power, and it's a great thing. It's just, unfortunately, when you look at what's available, the kits, the range, you aren't going to be driving this to Florida. You aren't going to be driving it for more than a few hours. You aren't gonna be driving much of any of these electric cars, apparently, for more than a few hours.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think,
like, it'd be nice maybe for day to day, but now you're talking about having to own different cars for different things or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
yeah.